We're here for the Daily Forex Report for May 20th. We are looking at the U.S.-Japanese yen pair first. This particular pair moved lower today on negative U.S. news. We are looking for this pair overall to continue moving sideways, definitely biased towards the downside. I am looking for this pair to potentially go as high as 92.38, possibly as low as 88.38. Look for some resistance around 90.90. And look for some support around 88.85. Now, looking at the Euro-USD pair, this particular pair closed higher during today's session, had a decent range, closed pretty close to the middle of the range overall if you look at it. We are looking for this pair to continue moving sideways with a slight bias to the downside. Look for it to potentially go as high as 126.59, possibly as low as 122.06. Look for some resistance around 12600 and look for some support around 12300. Now let's take a look at the pound US dollar pair. This pair closed lower today, did break previous lows, did close down, pulled back a little bit before the close. We are looking for this pair to continue moving sideways with a slight bias to the downside. Look for it to potentially go as high as 145.36, possibly as low as 141.25. Look for some resistance around 144.76 and look for some support around 142.25. Now the US Swiss continues to move higher, although it did create an inside bar. Closed up, however, so definitely keep an eye on this one. We are looking for it to potentially go as high as 116.42, possibly as low as 114.04. Look for some resistance around 115.85. and look for some support around 114.20. Now, as far as news analysis goes, we do have the European Union as the German IFO Business Climate Report being released at 4 a.m. Eastern Time for May. The consensus on that is that it's moved a little bit higher from 101.6 to 101.9. That particular news announcement isn't as significant as some of the others, but definitely worth noting. We also have the Canadian dollar releasing their consumer price index for April at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Consensus on that is that it has moved slightly higher from 0.0% to 0.2%. The Canadian dollar is also releasing their retail sales at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time for March, and the consensus on that is that their retail sales have dipped from 0.5% to 0.1%. So definitely keep an eye on that. Now, as far as what I'm looking for during this next session, the U.S. Swiss did create an inside bar during this last session. I am looking for it to break out of that, either to the downside or the upside. Either way will work. If it moves to the downside, looking for a little bit larger trade than if it moves to the upside. Moves to the upside pretty much is like a quick little scalp as far as where it's going. Let me change some of these parameters and we'll talk through it real quick. Okay, now if we get a breakout to the downside, I am looking for a short at this point at 114.19, coming down to this point at 113.31. That is basically a move of about 80 pips, 90 pips, right in that area. Now, if we don't get that, I'm looking for about a 15 pip move, and that is from 1.1585 to 1.1600. So that's a little bit quicker of a move, more of a scalp, but I do believe we'll be able to take those 13 pips, 15 pips out of the market. Well, that about wraps us up for today. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.